Mandy Legal Consult. On this channel, we share legal tips, legal tutorials, and acts to assist you in navigating the legal landscape here in Nigeria. If you love this kind of content, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And also turn on the notification bell to know when next we post. We post every week to educate users, individuals, and people that just want to learn how to actually do applications, registrations, compliance online. So stay tuned till the end of this video, because what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be showing the part 2 of how to upgrade your business name to a company limited. So I've done a video on this, the part 1, which I have on my channel, and thank you so much for the numerous comments, the views, and we've gotten a lot of feedback from just that one video. I am very excited about how that video is going, because it has really assisted a lot of people to be able to upgrade their business names to a limited liability company. So, and in the video, if you can recall, if you watch the video very well, I also pointed out that the next phase is actually how to register it as a company. So it is just going to be the normal way of company registration, right? And that is what I am going to be showing in this tutorial today. So this company I'm going to be using as a reference is a company that is also being upgraded from a business name to a limited liability company. So I've done the first stage, as I already made in the first tutorial. I've done it and we've gotten approval. You can see it here, it's already approved. So the next stage is actually to commence the registration. So what I will now do is to go to this I'll go to names requiring consent. So I am in names requiring consent. So, this is where we went to apply for consent to upgrade the business name to a company, right? So I will go to this same option, and then I will go to approved application. It is no longer a pending application. It is now an approved application. I'll click on approved application, and then you will see it here. This is the business name and upgrade to limited. This is the reason for consent. The status is approved, and then I will click on action, and then I will go to registration. There are 3 options here: view application details, go to registration, download receipts. What we want to do is to go to registration. So I will click on that, and then we'll go to the registration. So if you can recall, in the first part of the application, we had already submitted the major details of the company, right? We've submitted major details. So yeah, they are just displaying the details that we submitted before, right? And we don't really need to fill anything again. We just need to cross check it and know and ensure that everything it's fine. So we have the email, the business activity, the description of business activity. We have everything here. So we're just going to click save and continue. So we've also included witness details, as we did in the first part of the application. This particular application, this is the second phase. It's very easy to do, actually, because you've entered most of the details in the initial stage of trying to apply for consent. So what you have in this next stage is just to majorly include the share capital details, because if you are registering a company, you need to register with a minimum share capital of 100,000, depending on the nature of your company, right? Because there's some companies that have a particular minimum share capital they have to register with. That's the minimum. So everything is already included here. We click on save and continue. Then object of memorandum as well has been included in the first stage, so it is also going to be reflected here, except if I want to add another object. So I can be able to add another object if peradventure the client already tells me to add another object. I can add another object to this, but he is maintaining this object, so we continue, save and continue. And then director and secretary, we already have the director details. We've already edited this in the first phase of the application. So I'm speaking to the first phase of the application. I am going to leave the link to that video on my description box so that you guys can watch the video to properly understand the second video. This is the second phase, so you have to watch the first phase if you want to upgrade your business to a limited liability company. That's the very first phase you are going to attempt to do before you now go to the next phase. And if you watch that first video, you will be able to understand better what I am doing in this second phase so that you will not get confused. So the director details has also been entered here, and I'm going to click on save and continue. Now, this is where I need all of you to pay attention to. Pay attention to this part. Very, very important. Now, this is the share capital page, and this is a display of the minimum share capital of different types of companies. I mentioned this before that in CAC there is a share capital threshold for some kinds of companies. Okay, you cannot just say you want to register a company and you want to register with 100,000 share capital. No, the consultant would ask you, what is the nature of your company? For example, if you're operating a stockbroker company, stockbroker is number 5 here. The minimum share capital you have to start with is 200 million share capital. Now, this does not mean that you have to have 200 million naira in your bank account. No. What this is trying to say is that for application purposes, you are registering with 200 million share capital. So the 200 million share capital is the amount of shares that your company has and can be able to sell to the public or to its members. So you can, take about 70% of these shares, and the remaining 30% you share it or you give it. This is a private limited company, so it's only for your members and private shareholders. You can get investors that want to invest in your company by investing in its shares out of the 30% shares already allocated. So if you are registering as a stockbroker, you cannot register with 1 million share capital. It is way below the share capital threshold. So that is why it is very important that you understand this. That is why CAC is displaying this on the screen so that I can also have a glimpse of the share capital I have to include. Okay, so and the amount of share capital you register with also affects the cost of registration. The higher the share capital, the higher the cost of registration, and also the higher the money you pay for stamp duties. But this company I'm registering, I'm upgrading from business to company, is a food business. So my advice was that the person should just start with 1 million share capital. So the thing as well that I want you guys to understand is you can also increase your share capital as time goes by. If you want to accommodate more shares, accommodate more shareholders and investors in your company, you can always increase your share capital. So you can consult with your CAC accredited agent that would assist you to increase your share capital on the portal. It's a post incorporation process. It is a post incorporation process. So it is not done by a non-CAC accredited agent. So you have to get a CAC accredited agent to assist you with the post. So while saying all this, I will just click on the page, and then I will go here and enter entity with shares below 5 million. Why? Because I am registering with 1 million share capital. Okay, so if you're registering with a share capital below 5 million, please click this option here. Click it here. So it's going to display on the screen, and then enter total issued share capital. Total issued share capital is the total amount of share capital that is issued. Okay, so we are going to include 1 million share capital. Okay, and then the class of shares, we have equity, we have preference. So equity is the shares that we are selecting here. So once we have this, we will now click on the 1 million share capital, make sure that it is not above or below the issued share capital that we have stated. Okay, so divided number of units. So this is the unit number that you want your shares to be sold at. So some sell it at 2 naira per share, some sell it at 1 naira per share. It depends on what you really want. I usually recommend, if you're trying to do your application yourself, you can just put 1 naira. So it will be at the sale of, just 1 naira per share. You don't have to get all complicated with this kind of stuff, right? So that is it. So I will just click on add share breakdown. So you can see it now. Class of share is equity. Issued share capital is 1 million share capital. Issued share capital in words, 1 million naira divided into 1 naira. 1 naira. The nominal value for each share is 1 million naira or units. So that's what we're doing here. Then in the last phase, I already selected that the same director will be the shareholder. So that is why his name is appearing here as an individual shareholder. So if you want to add another shareholder, just click this link here and add individual shareholder. Okay, if you want to add a corporate shareholder, that is a company. You want a company, or maybe your company, you have a company that you want to also be a shareholder in your new company, you can click on this. Minor shareholder is a person that is below the age of 18 years. So you can also include that person, but you will be holding the shares in trust for the minor shareholder. So minor shareholder can be your child, can be your sibling that is not up to the legal age of 18 years. So that is it. You can include this, but I don't need to include any of this option because I already have my individual shareholder already here. So what I will do is I will click on edit details because I have not given him any shares yet. I just included him as a shareholder when I was filling his name as a director. So I will just include the shareholder details now. When you scroll down, you go to share allotment, types of shares, equity, ordinary shares, number of shares allocated is allocated the 1 million shares, right? Now there are different options here, and I want you to also pay attention to this as well. So these options are what the rights that will be allocated for this particular shareholder. So if you are the owner of the company and you have shares you want to allocate to shareholders, there are different rights you can allocate for them. It might not be the same right, okay? And what I do majorly, I don't want to bore you with a lot of details, but it is very important that you pick this third part, particulars of any rights as respect capital to participate in a distribution, including all winding up. This is what I pick for all my clients because it's extensive. Shareholder, the director will have rights in, participating in voting rights, voting for for a major decision in the company, rights in respect to capital, raising capital, and to participate in distribution where there is a winding up. So distribution of assets, the owner of the company is able to also participate in such distribution. So I pick this third option. I also want to advise that you pick this third option as well. If you are the owner of the company and you are the one taking most of the shares, this is like a saver option that you can pick. So I click on that and I'll update and continue. So I'll go to save and continue. So we are at the PSC stage, persons with significant control. So because the person here is the highest shareholder, is also the only director, is automatically a person with significant control. So he's the one that has most of the control as regards the company's operation. So what I also want you to pay attention to is this last part of the the this application. So there is details of interest held. Does the PSC directly hold at least 5% of the shares or interest in the company? The answer is yes. The second part is saying, does the PSC indirectly hold at least 5% of the shares or interest in a company? The answer is no. Does the PSC directly hold at least 5% of the voting rights in a company? The answer is yes. The second part is speaking to if the PSC holds indirectly at least 5%, the answer is no. So the last two parts was not filled and it should be filled. Does the PSC hold the right to appoint or remove a majority of the directors or partners in a company? The answer is supposed to be yes, but automatically CAC kept no. So we have to edit that. This is what I want to bring to your attention. The second part says, does the PSC otherwise have the right to exercise or is actually exercising significant influence or control over a company or limited liability partnership? The answer is supposed to be yes, not no. So we're going to edit that here. We're going to edit that here. Every other detail is okay, but we're going to edit that here. You see, it was not edited. It was not filled at all. So that's why it was automatically no. So you have to please be very careful with this so that you don't miss this application. So once that is filled, I go to save and continue. Then statement of compliance is my details. So click on confirm and then save and continue. So here we are uploading details. We are going to be uploading the means of identification of the director, signature of the shareholder, signature of witness, signature of the director, and all this. So we're going to upload this offline and they're going to come back. Okay, so now I've uploaded all the details I need to upload and I'm going to click save and continue. So yeah, this is like a preview of everything that I've filled so far. I just want to go over this again just to be sure that I am right on track. Okay, everything is good. Then we click save and continue and they're going to make payment. So I've made the payments now and there's this page that you would see pay stamp duty. So this is what I was talking about. After you've made the first payment, you will have to pay stamp duty. So it's very important for company registrations. You would have to pay stamp duty fee for your registration. So stamp duty payment was successful and payments verified successfully, so they're submitting the application and then you should see this pop-up here that says registration submitted. So now that we've done the application, we are just going to wait for CAC feedback on the application. So thank you so much once again for watching this video. I hope you learned one or few things on registering a company. So this is actually the how you can register a company, a limited liability company as well, right? And this is also the same stage of upgrading your business name to a company limited by shares. That is a private limited company. Okay, so if you learned one or few things in this video, let me know in the comment section below. And if you have one or two questions, let us also know in the comment section below and we'll be more than happy to assist and respond to you. Okay, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell to know when next we post. If you can also reach us directly on our contact details. The contact details will be at the description box. If you need our services anyway, anyhow possible, let us know and we'll be more than happy to assist you. So till next time, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in our next video. Take care and bye.